Morning students, welcome back to online classes. Last class we have discussed programming constructs. In programming construct is also nothing but is also called as the decision construct. Based on that decision you are going to decide how a program can be well structured in order to using a programming language. There we have studied three types of construct. One is sequential construct, second one is selection construct, third one is iteration construct. In sequential construct we have seen the instruction, the statement is executed one after the another in a sequential manner. That is one after the another in a sequential manner. So there is no backward and forward processing takes place. A single entry is given and a single exit is given. So that is nothing but in a sequential construct. We have seen the flow chart and an example. Next we have gone to selection construct. In selection construct we are going to decide, it is also called as the decision construct. Based on the condition, you are going to decide which particular statement has to be executed based on the condition. So in selection construct, there are five types of selection construct. First one is simple if statement. Second one is if else statement. Third one is if else if statement. And fourth one is nested if statement. Fifth one is multiple selection construct. So in if statement, in simple if, it is nothing but one-way branching based on the condition. If the test condition is satisfied, you are going to execute the, if it is true, you are going to select the particular set of statements or component statement is being executed. In that we have seen the flow chart, algorithm and general syntax for it. Next in a if else statement, there is two-way branching. It is nothing but if its condition test is satisfied, you are going to execute the set of statements for true condition. If it is not satisfied, you are going to execute the other set of false statement. Then we have seen the flow chart and programming, and I have also explained how the algorithm or flowchart works. Third one is nothing but if else if statement. It is also called as multiple way branching. So you are going to have more than one. There is a condition tested. Condition test is more than one. That is based on the condition is satisfied. You are going to keep on checking. If none of the condition is satisfied, you are going to test for a default statement. Next, in your fifth one is nested if. That is your fourth one in your selection construct is nested if construct. Here it is possible one if statement, if one if statement is being nested with another if statement. In nested if statement, here one if statement is being nested with another if statement. That is one if statement is being nested with is being overlapped to another if statement. Such a construct required as the nested if construct. See here, the general syntax is if condition test. Okay, you are going to test for the condition test 1. If it is true, you are going to check another if condition test 2. Statement 1 is executed. Else, you are going to execute statement 2. If starting itself, if condition is not satisfied, you are going to else another if. You are going to check for the another condition test 3. Test condition 3. And you are going to execute statement. You are going to execute statement 3, else you are going to execute statement 4. See here what I am telling, nested if statement, it is possible to one if statement is being enclosed with another if statement or nested with another if statement. So the general form of it is you are going to check for the condition. That is, you are going to check one if statement is being enclosed with another if statement. So nested. So if condition test 1, then you are going to check for another condition. If condition test 2, if this both is satisfied, you are going to execute statement 1. If suppose if first condition is satisfied, if both are not satisfied, or first condition is being satisfied, second condition is not satisfied, then you are going to execute statement 2. If starting itself if test condition 1 is not satisfied, you are going to check for the another test condition 3. And here if test condition 3 is satisfied, you are going to execute statement 3. Else you are going to execute statement 4. So we will draw a flow chart for this nested if construct. So we will draw a flow chart in this nested if construct. So we will draw a flow chart for nested if construct. So we are going to check for the condition. This condition 1 is true. If it is true, Okay, it's going to check for the another condition. Is condition 2. If it is true, okay, it's going to execute statement 1. Else, if it is false, it's going to execute statement 2. Okay, here starting itself, if the condition is, if this condition is false, it's going to check for the condition is condition 3. If it is true, it's going to execute statement 3. Else, if it is false, it's going to execute statement 4. See, once again I explain your flow chart of a nested if construct. You are going to check for the condition 1. I am going to check for the condition 1. If this condition 1 is being true, it is going to check for the another condition. One if statement is being nested with another if statement. If this condition 2 is true, then it is going to execute statement 1. If this condition 2 is in this statement 2, that is in a condition block, if it is false, it is going to execute statement 2. If starting itself with this condition itself is false, then it is going to execute. It is going to check for another condition. That is your test condition 3. If it is true, it is going to execute statement 3. If it is false, it is going to execute statement 4. This is the flow chart of your nested if construct. The general form we have given. Next it is nothing but your flow chart of your nested if construct. Let's see an example problem how it works for nested if construct. Let's see an example problem for a nested if construct. So first I am going to take if A is greater than B. Next, another nested if statement is A is greater than C. You are going to print A is greater, else print C is greater. Next, the main else part here it is if this condition, this is for nested if. So for that you are going to print if A is greater than, that is a first if condition. Next is a nested if. For that you are going to, if this both conditions satisfied, you are going to print A is greater. Else you are going to print C is greater. If first itself the if condition is main if condition itself failed, then main else if part is if B is greater than C. You are going to print B is greater, else print C is greater. Once again explaining, see here, this nested if I have already told, one if statement is being enclosed with another if statement, or one if statement is being nested with another if statement. Such a condition we call it as a nested if construct. In nested if construct, so I am using a main if statement. Inside that I am enclosing another if statement, that is nothing but my nested if statement. So here one if statement, if this if statement is true, going and checking to another nested if statement, that is A is greater than B. If these both the condition is being true, you are going to print A is greater. If my first condition is true, my second condition is not, that is my second condition is not true, then that is nothing but it is not satisfied with this one, then I am going to print C is greater. If starting itself my main if statement itself fails, my main else if statement is B is greater than, I am going to check for another test condition 3. Here I am going to check for that B is greater than C. If B is greater than C, I am going to print B is greater, else I am going to print C is greater. It is like if this is my condition 1, condition test 1, this is my condition test 2. That is, I am going to test the condition 1, I am going to test the condition 2. If both the condition is true, then I am going to print statement 1. I am going to print statement 1. If first condition test is true but second condition test is false, then I am going to print statement 2. Okay. Here, if first main condition if statement itself the condition is false, then I'm going to my main else if statement. My main else statement, if statement is nothing but I'm going to test the condition 3. I'm going to test the condition 3. I'm going to test the condition 3. If this condition is true, I'm going to print statement 3. Else I'm going to print statement 4. That is what the general form it is mentioned. See here, that is nothing but you're going to check for one if loop is being enclosed with another if loop. If both the if loop, that is one main if is being nested with another if these two conditions satisfied, I am going to print the statement 1. If one main if is satisfied but the second, that is a nested if is not satisfied, then you are going to print statement 2. If main if statement itself is false, then you are going to main else statement. I am going to check for the condition 3. Then you are going to execute statement 4. Then you are going to execute statement 3. If this fails, then you are going to execute statement 4. This is nothing but your nested if construct that I have given in the type of your general syntax, general form, as well as your example program. I am going to check if A is greater than B. Another if statement, A is greater than C. So if both the condition is satisfied, I am going to print A is greater. If first condition is satisfied, second condition is not satisfied, then I am going to print the nested else if what it is, C is greater. If main if statement itself is fails, then I am going to go to a main else statement. What is my main else statement? Here it is. I am going to check for the condition 3, that is if B is greater than C. Then I am going to print B is greater. Yes, I am going to the main else what is in that condition. Next I am going to print C is greater. So this is about your 4 selection construct in your programming construct, that is nothing but nested if construct. Last selection construct of your programming construct is multiple construct, or it is also called as the switch statement. Your 5th selection construct is multiple selection construct or switch statement. It is also called as the switch statement. If you want to select more than 2 alternatives, you want to select more than 2 alternatives to be selected. If you want to select more than 2 alternatives is selected, then you are going to use of the statement or a construct called as the multiple selection construct. See, this multiple selection construct, it is also called as the switch statement. If you want to select more than 2 alternatives, you are going to go for your multiple selection construct. So general form here it is switch expression. Okay, you are going to check case label 1. In that you are going to execute the statement 1. And you are going to use a keyword called break. Next, case label 2, statement 2. Here the keyword is break. I'll explain what it is. So on up to, you are going to check for the case label 3. Here you are going to execute the case label n. So and you are going to execute the statement n break. If the none of the match is not matched, then you are going to execute default statement. Then you are going to execute the default statement and you are going to close your switch expression. See here switch is the keyword, expression is nothing but value of the expression. You are going to this expression, that is the switch expression. This expression can be an integer, character, or enumerate boolean or enumerated data types. What is this enumerated? You are going to study in your 8th or 9th chapter, upcoming chapters, the data types of your computer system. There, this switch expression can be of your integer. It can be of integer, character, boolean or enumerated data types. What is this enumerated? You are going to study it in your data types chapter. Just kindly understand what is integer, character, everything you are going to study. These are the data types. So here this expression can hold the data types like integer, character, or boolean or enumerated data values. So this expression, the values given in expression, it's going to check for each case labels. So here and if this expression, the values of the expression, going to see for each case label, that is more than 2 adjectives, so I don't know. It's going to check if the given expression, if it is matches in any one of the label, that is a keyword case label, if that particular match, if this expression, value of the expression is being matched with your case label 1, then the set of statements present in your case label 1 is being executed. That statement 1 is executed. If this case label doesn't match with the that is expression doesn't match with the label 1, then it's going to check for the label 2 and so on up to n. If none of the matches, value of the expression doesn't match, or value of the whatever expression or integer or character doesn't match with of any one of your label values, then it's going to execute the default statement. If the match is present between your whatever values, that is the fixed expression of your expression you are given, if it is matches with your labels, case labels, then it's going to execute. If none of the expression value doesn't match, it's going to execute default statement. So after each label, that is of each case, a break should be included. Indicates this is the end of the particular switch, that is particular choice or particular value of expression. So next statement, when you go for next label or next condition, if the value of the expression matches with the case label 2, a set of expressions is being executed in a statement 2. If it after executing the set of statement, it should be given with a keyword called break. It indicates that much of the statement, that is the break of this particular condition or break of this particular statement. So each label should be ended with your break statement. That is your after executing the statement, you should give a break. So this is nothing but the syntax used in your multiple selection construct. In your multiple selection construct is also called a switch statement. When you want to select more than 2 alternatives, you go for your multiple selection statement. Here, what is the syntax for general form? Here it is switch expression. Switch is a keyword, expression is a value of the expression. This expression can be an integer, character or boolean or enumerated data types. You are going to study what is integer, character or boolean in upcoming classes. So I am going to open my expression. So this is a general syntax, case label 1. This is label 1. What it indicates? Statement 1. If the value of the expression, you have a choice of selecting this value of expression matches with this case label. If it is matches with any given case label, a set of statement is being executed under that case label and it come out of, that is a break is used and it come out of that one. If none of the expression is matched with the value of, none of the value of expression doesn't match with your case label, then it's going to defaultly going to print the default statement and come out of this particular loop. We'll see now how a flowchart works for this case label. We will see. We'll see a flowchart. We have seen a general form of your switch statement. We'll see a flowchart. So you're going to check for a condition. Expression. Here you are going to check for your label 1. You are going to check for your label 1. If this label 1 matches with the value of an expression, you are going to execute statement 1. Else, you are going to check for label 2. If it is satisfied, you are going to check for, you are going to execute the statement 2. Okay. So on up to, you are going to check for the condition. That is here, you are going to check for the condition. That is up to label n. And you are going to execute statement n. If none of the condition matches, then you are going to check for the, you are going to execute your default. You are going to check for, that is you are going to execute your default statement. That is default statement. See here, this is your flow chart for your switch statement. Here you are going to check for the expression, that is value of the expression. You are going to check for, I have already told in a switch expression, it can be an integer, character or boolean, that is nothing but your enumerated data types. So if this matches with your case label 1, if this matches, you are are going to execute statement 1. If this expression doesn't match with your what is that label 1, case label 1, you are going to check for the case label 2. If this condition is matched in your case label 2, then you are going to execute set of statement, that is nothing but statement 2. So on up to you are going to check for the how many number of cases, that is how many number of evaluation of an expression is given till n. If till n you are going to check the statement, that is a label 1, label 2, label n. If none of the statement is being executed, not matched with the given value of an expression, then it is going to defaultly going to print the statement or execute the statement of your default statement. So this is about your multiple selection. It works similarly to your if-else-if statement. It works similarly to your the working construction is similar to your third selection process or selection construct is nothing but if-else-if statement. I have already told more than one condition to be checked means when you go for if-else-if statement, it is similarly you are going to checking more than one condition. If value of the given expression matches with any of your cases or labels or condition, a set of statement is executed. If none of these statement is being matched, then it is going to defaultly execute your default statement. So this is about your general syntax of your multiple selection statement and your flow chart of your multiple selection statement or switch statement. Let's see an example problem of your multiple selection statement. So let's see an example problem. So I am going to start switch. So expression I am giving here is day number. So I am going to open my switch statement and open my curly braces. So I am going to check for the case 1. Okay, it is case 1. I am going to print. It is Sunday. Then I am going to break that particular switch statement. That is particular case 1. Then I am going to check for case 2. I am going to print Monday. I will explain how it works. Then you are going to print. So you are going to come out of the case 2. Next case 3. You are going to print Tuesday. Break. Case 4. Print Wednesday. Break. Next case 5. You are going to print Thursday. Thursday. Break. Next case 6. Case 6. You are going to print Friday. You are going to break and come out of that particular case. Next case 7. You are going to print Saturday. Break. If none of the cases matches, default you are going to print invalid what you are given day number. Then you are going to come out of that particular that is your switch statement. See here, this is an example for your switch multiple selection of switch statement. So here this is switch is a keyword. I have already explained what is day number is my expression in your day number. So this day number is nothing but it I have taken as an integer data type or integer characters or enumerated boolean or enumerated data types can be hold in expression value. So day number, if I do day number was 1, it is going to print that it is as Sunday. If I do day number as 2, it is going to print it as Monday. 3, Tuesday. 4, it is nothing but Wednesday. 5, you are going to print Thursday. 6 is nothing but your Friday. If you have entered the day number as 7, it is going to display it as Saturday. If you have entered 8 or 9 or 10, it goes by default, it doesn't match with any one of your case values. So defaultly it is going to come out of that particular case 7. It check and statement here, it is print invalid day number. So if any one of the case values is being matched, only particular case, if I suppose I have entered the day number as 3, it is going to print it as Tuesday. If I have entered the case day number, that is the value of the expression is 7, then it is going to print Saturday. If I have printed any other numbers like 0, 8 or 10, it doesn't match of any one of the case statement or any one of the case labels. So the particular statement cannot be executed. It will check for all the multiple selection. It go on, keep on checking for the numbers. If that is sorry now expression. If none of the value of the expression doesn't match, it will come to a default values or default case where it is going to print that it is as an invalid day number. So this is how the working of your multiple selection or switch statement works. Next we'll see third important construct of your programming is iteration construct or iterative construct. Your third programming construct is your iterative constructs. This iterative construct is nothing but if you want to execute a certain number of statements, or you want to execute a statements for number of times. Repeatedly you need to execute certain set of statements until the condition is satisfied. So in such a cases, until the condition is satisfied, even in given number of times is also specified. In such a cases, you go for your iterative construct. Once again I explain. A set of statements to be executed repeatedly. You are going to execute a set of statements repeatedly. A statement is executed repeatedly until the condition is satisfied or until the condition is true, or a given number of times. Both the cases, until the condition is satisfied or given number of times also, the number of times will be fixed. Certain number of times the statement should be executed repeatedly until its condition is satisfied. Such a statement we called, or such a construct we called as an iterative construct. This iterative construct is also called as the looping. It is also called as the looping construct, or it is also called as the repetitive construct. Okay, it is also called iterative construct is also known as the looping construct, or it is also known as the repetitive construct. What it tells by name itself, you are going to keep on repeatedly execute a sequence of statements until the condition is true or given number of times. Until the condition true, or it can be given number of times. You keep on repeatedly executing a certain set of statements. Such as construct we called as the iterative construct, or it is also called as looping construct, or it is also called as the repetitive construct. So here are two types of construct. That is the iterative constructs are two types. One is unconditional construct. There are two types. In a repetitive construct, one is unconditional construct, or you can say this as conditional construct. See here, your iterative construct are two types. One is unconditional construct or conditional. What is this unconditional construct? Means you are going to repeatedly execute a set of statements until the condition is satisfied. That is the number of times it doesn't know in advance. That is, it doesn't know in the number of fixed ranges doesn't know in advance, not known in advance. See here, you are going to execute a set of statements. A set of statements is repeatedly executed until the condition is satisfied. But until the condition is satisfied, you keep on executing the set of statements. But the number of times, that is number of fixed ranges, you doesn't know in advance. Such a construct we called as the unconditional construct. In unconditional construct, you are going to study about while construct and do while construct. Here there are two types of construct in unconditional. You are going to study what is while construct and do while construct. In conditional construct, similar to your unconditional, a set of statement is being executed, but here the number of times it should be repeated, it's known in advance. That is number of times. Fixed execution program. It's nothing but another name is fixed execution construct. It is also called as the fixed execution construct. It is also called as the fixed execution construct. That is, number of times it should be repeated is known in number of times it is repeated. It's known in advance. You know, it's known in advance. in unconditional construct, you here also repetition. When you go in a repetition or looping, number of times a statement is executed until the condition is satisfied. But how many number of times you need to repeat, that doesn't known in unconditional construct, that is not known in advance. Here you are going to study two types of unconditional construct. One is while loop, another one is do while loop. In your conditional construct, here it is also known as fixed execution construct. Number of execution times is being known in advance. It is also called as fixed execution construct. Here number of times is repeated is known in advance. Here you are going to study conditional about your for loop. So here you are going to study about your for loop. In unconditional you are going to study about two types, that is while and do while construct. First we will go to a while construct. Students, next class we will see the difference between we'll study what is unconditional construct and conditional construct. So next class we will study what is while construct, do while construct and for loop, or while loop, do while loop and for loop. So today's class I'll wind up with your this particular clear, that is your iterative construct. So last class that is what all we have studied in this class. It's nothing but your nested if statement, switch statement and your iterative statements. So in iterative statement, what is iterative we have seen, and two types of iterative or looping, what is that means, unconditional and conditional. So we will continue this unconditional and conditional next class. Today's class I'll wind up this particular session. Thank you one and all.